Good evening and welcome to the Rory Talks Football channel. Thank you for coming back. If you're new here, please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, smash a like on the video. All of your Arsenal news, updates, and a dose of my opinion. Shout out if you're watching on TikTok as well. The link is in my bio. Come over and subscribe. Join the community. It is a fantastic community here on YouTube. And we'll get into today's show. It's mainly transfer news based. There's not a whole lot to talk about in terms of squad fitness updates or anything like that. Obviously, we had those yesterday, so you can check out yesterday's video for that. Ridle Baku to Arsenal is the big one. We've also got updates. Wilf, Zaha, Michael Olise. We've got an update from Fabrizio Romano on Moises Caicedo. We will also talk a little bit about how good Man City were last night. Scarily good. And of course, we will have Guess the Gooner and Guess the Non-Gooner. I am indeed wearing a Hereford FC shirt for those that have noticed. Up the Hereford FC. Shout out to anyone from Hereford. Welcome to the YouTube chat, Ross, SAS, and Alanis. Thoughts on Mudryk? Look, he might come good, but at 22, it's slightly worrying that he's as raw as he is. Ben just came from TikTok, mate. What a legend. What a legend you are, Ben. So let's get into it. Ridle Baku, German right back, currently at Wolfsburg. Some people know him as a right mid because he does have a right mid card on FIFA, but he is predominantly a right back. And according to Sky Germany's Florian Plettenberg, he revealed yesterday Baku is on Arsenal's radar. The 25-year-old right back, his priority move is to come to England this summer. He's been branded as a dangerous player, and he enters the final 2 years of his contract this summer. So he's going to have 2 years left on his contract. Price tag of around £13 million, so not expensive. He has just turned 25, literally 2 days ago. So basically, he's 24. And yeah, look, he's 5'9", so slightly different profile-wise to Ben White. As I said, he has played and does play at right mid when needed. So he is more of what we started seeing as a traditional right back, where they're faster. And I don't know, it's interesting actually if you look at the way that Man City and Arsenal have gone with likes of Ben White, and City have done it with Stones and Nathan Ake playing centre backs at right back. He is much more of your sort of attacking style right back. 142 games in the Bundesliga, 17 goals, 17 assists. He's played 26 games this season in the Bundesliga, 5 goals, 1 assist. So you can see he does get forward more than maybe a Ben White does. But it strikes me that 142 games isn't that much for a player that is now 25. So it has taken his career a while to get going, but now it does seem to be going quite well. And he's not been out injured since 2018 either. So a good record in terms of not being injured very often. Not going to lie, the name Baku gives me PTSD. Yeah, that is one of the downsides of Ridle Baku, is that he will be associated with the heartbreaking Baku for the whole time. How much will we pay? So it's rumored he's worth around 13 to 15 million, which, you know, in the current market isn't much at all. Yeah, that's so. Daily FC Context just said, do you think he could be the inverted fullback on the right-hand side? Well, it's very possible that you want to have sort of, in Arteta's system, potentially you want to have 3 of the back 4 being big, more built like a centre-back. So as it is at the moment, you have Zinchenko moving in that inverted fullback role, and then you've got Gabriel, Saliba Holding, and Ben White. This gives you the option to do the opposite way, where you have that player as the right back, and potentially you have maybe a Kivior as left back in that situation. So you've still got the 3 big sort of more centre-back profile defenders in the team, but it gives you the option to do it off the other side. So it's all about having versatility, I think, in Arsenal and Arteta's team. And he definitely provides that. With Tommy, do we really need him? I think Tomiyasu might end up being really just becoming a massively versatile defender for us, in terms of someone that can play left back, right back, and centre back, and either of the 2 centre back positions. So I don't necessarily think that. I don't think going into next season, Tomiyasu will be our second choice right back. I do just think he's going to be a massive utility player for us across the back line. So that is Ridle Baku. Again, for me, obviously the other option that we've been linked to a lot is Ivan Fresneda. These 2 are very different in terms of their profiles. Fresneda's 6 foot, much younger. He's only 18 still. Hasn't got anywhere near the experience that Baku's got, but would arguably probably cost more than Baku. So it's good to have different options. It'll be interesting to see who we go for. The one big difference is that Baku's made it clear he wants to move to England, whereas Fresneda apparently isn't that keen on leaving Spain. So it could be a much easier target for us. Yes, I do say Baku, young Mason. I do indeed, and it's not funny. We do not like to remember Baku. Other transfer news: Wilfried Zaha. Apparently, Arsenal are interested in the potential signing of Zaha on a free this summer. I tweeted it wouldn't be a massive. I wouldn't be that happy with it. I think it would be poor business because I could only imagine us bringing in Zaha for free if we're losing Reece Nelson for free. And I just don't think that that's an upgrade. Zaha is older. He's not having the best season. I definitely don't think his career is on an upward trajectory. It's on a downward trajectory. His attitude isn't great. Not in terms of he gets wound up when he gets fouled. I don't mind that. It's understandable. It's more to do with the fact that you saw it against Arsenal. He got dispossessed by Ben White, and his head went down. He didn't chase back. His attitude in that sense is great, and that just doesn't run with what Arteta's trying to do. Obviously, his wages, Daily FC content, his wages would be a lot more than Reece Nelson's. So for me, it's not great business. What would be great business is that apparently we're interested also in Michael Olise. Now that's a far more exciting transfer. Now it would probably cost us quite a lot of money, rumored to be about 40 million. So it's not the same as getting a player on a free. But look, I think in terms of upgrading the squad, that would be a better option than Wilfried Zaha would be. So we'll see what happens on that front. I mean, we're linked to Zaha every single summer. So I think us being linked to him again is, it can just as easily be journalists going, well, we link Zaha to them every summer, so we'll run that one again because we haven't got much to talk about today. Have you talked about Leipzig's interest in Balogun? Not yet, but I will do. Leipzig are already talking to Balogun, apparently, which is concerning. But yeah, so that was the Zaha one was coming from Santi Auna and Sebastian Dennis, who are both at Foot Mercato, which is probably a tier 2 outlet in terms of accuracy of transfer news. But both of them, to be fair, have just said that it's interest and nothing more at the moment. What do you think about the Gravenberch links? Yeah, so Gravenberch is being linked to England as well at the moment. Liverpool, United, and Arsenal, all potential suitors. Look, I haven't seen much of him play. Not many people have seen much of him play since he moved to Bayern Munich because he doesn't get much game time, which is the problem. But I remember watching him quite a few times at Ajax, and he looked like a baller. So, we know we're in the market for midfielders. It's another potential option. Are there any updates on Saliba's injury? Nothing new today. Nothing new since yesterday, at least, Marwan. So, if you didn't watch yesterday's video, the first 10 minutes of yesterday's video cover Saliba. Do you think Matoma will stay at Brighton? Probably not. Probably not. I don't think he will. I don't know, though. It'll be interesting to see how much Brighton cash in on their players this summer. It definitely seems like Moises Caicedo wants to leave still. I'm literally rolling into that now. So Romano today was speaking. Fabrizio Romano was speaking about Moises Caicedo. He said Caicedo is still expected to leave Brighton this summer. He said Arsenal are still very interested in signing him, and he's one of the midfielders that they're monitoring. He then said that from what he understands, the new contract was given to give Caicedo a higher salary. And we know, I mean, he was on peanuts. Like, he was literally on like $3,000 a week or something crazy until the January when they gave him that new contract. So presumably it'll be harder to get him out of that contract now than it would have been in the January. I mean, considering we bid 70 million, it got rejected. I can't imagine that they'd then let him go for 70 million in the summer. So it'll be interesting to see how much you can actually get Caicedo for. Caicedo's the dream signing, in my opinion. Perfect Partey replacement. Yeah, I don't disagree. I think you can very clearly see that the sort of Partey Xhaka becomes Caicedo Declan Rice over the next couple of years. And that, I think, would be a very, very juicy midfield. I'm so happy you do this. I always watch the United stand and try and find out what Arsenal are doing there. But now I have someone who speaks only about Arsenal. There you go, Terence. There you go. And I won't lie, I also have watched a lot of the United stand before, and it kind of inspired this as well because I also thought that there weren't many Arsenal outlets to do this sort of thing. Not that I'm anywhere near the level of Mark Goldbridge yet, but we are only a couple of weeks in. So have you lost weight, Rory? Not. I've lost a bit of weight. I've lost a bit of weight. I've cleaned my diet up a little bit. Still a bit of a way to go. The problem is that this stuff just never disappears. I've just my gramps. Unfortunately, he did pass on the gene of just having a very jowly face. So even when I'm quite thin, still just got this flab around here. But look, we move. Nah, he bulking. He bulking. Exactly. Who do you think we're selling in the summer? I think we could sell. I think we could sell 10 people in the summer. We will. We will. Unfortunately, we're just gonna have to. We're gonna have to get rid of this person. Unfortunately, that is unfortunate. There you go. You're gone. Lost weight from stress and nerves of the title challenge. It helps. The amount of weight I must have lost on that AFTV live stream, the amount of water weight, I was sweating my tits off. Also, what about Lavia? Yeah, Romeo Lavia is another option from Southampton. And this is why I don't think these crazy prices that are being quoted for these midfielders are actually going to come off. When you're talking about 100 million for Declan Rice. Ibrahim, hello from TikTok. Hello. Thank you for joining the YouTube chat from TikTok. YouTube link is in my bio if you're watching on TikTok. But yeah, there's so many midfielders I think that are going to be on the market that there aren't that many teams that can afford to spend 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 million on a midfielder. And so it's going to be an interesting summer. It's going to be a bit of, it's going to be, teams are going to be playing chicken because you don't want to be the team that buys 100, Declan Rice for 100 million and then you see Caicedo go for 70 million or you see McAllister go for 60 million or something like that. So, did you know that Jared Bowen's from Hereford? I did. He's actually from Leominster, which is a town just outside Hereford. I used to play against him a lot. Do you think we need better backup for Gabriel and Saliba? I think Kivior could go on to be an excellent player. I think Kivior will be suitable backup for Gabriel. I do think we need better backup for Saliba though. Caicedo for Partey, Rice for Xhaka. Exactly, Humbro. Exactly, Humbro. That is the plan. I mean, it's an expensive midfield to do in one transfer window, but if we could get it done, I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. What do you think the chance of Rice and Caicedo? I don't know. It's difficult. I mean, the thing is, we've got a habit of not landing our number one targets, right? So it's difficult to know. Thoughts on Walters being inverted right back? I mean, I've not seen. Obviously, he's not really played for the first team, but Rule. I never know how to pronounce it if it's Ruel or Rule, but Rule Walters. I mean, he's been in the squad. He's been in and around the squad a lot recently due to the injuries that we've had. And yeah, like I said, I've not seen him much outside of a few academy clips, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Arteta's trying to mold him into that sort of player. That's for sure. It is Ruel, yeah, thought so. I say I thought so. I didn't have a clue. Gravenberch would be an ideal replacement for Xhaka. Yeah, could be. Do you think Vieira's good enough backup for Odegaard? Not at the moment. Not at the moment, I don't think. Would you take Souček? No. Souček had a great run of form at West Ham, but I've got a couple of friends who are season ticket holders at West Ham, and they are not at all impressed with Souček. I think Lino Sousa is the backup left back from the academy. We really need. Yeah, look, we've got a lot of academy players coming through. I mean, this is the problem with we've got academy players coming through. We've got a lot of academy players that are out, or academy players and other players that are out on loan that are coming back. Lots of sales in the summer. Cancelo would be nice. Archie in the TikTok chat. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Cancelo. Apparently, it's like 60 mil, so it'll be interesting. Would you win the Champions League but lose Saka and Odegaard next summer? Yeah, if we won the Champions League and that caused Saka and Odegaard to go, I would take it. Yeah. Do you think Tavares has a future at the club? No, I don't think so. I don't think his attitude or his style of play really suit what we're looking for anymore. And Ben says, what do you think we will do with Patino? I think he'll go out on loan to a promoted team. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him go out on loan to Burnley, who have just come up. And I think that'd be the right move for him. I think that a loan move to a new Premier League team would be a great move. Are you going to go to the Youth Cup final? Tickets go out tomorrow. Yeah, I will do. 25th of April, Arsenal under 18s against West Ham at the Emirates. So we should get as many people to that as we possibly can as well. The tickets will be cheap. It'll be a good night. Get everyone down there. Why not? Same with the Women's Champions League semi-final as well. How much do you think we could get for Tavares and Balogun? Well, so Balogun, it's rumoured that RB Leipzig are in talks with Arsenal, with Balogun, to sign him in the summer for upwards of 40 million euros. And we were talking about this yesterday, that I don't think Balogun will go for as much as we think he should. And interestingly, the same report that was talking about our RB Leipzig signing him said that for RB Leipzig, he was seen as a cheaper alternative to Jonathan David. And I'm like, I don't think there should be that much disparity between the values of those two players in terms of the way that they played this season. So, and then you factor in that Balogun is obviously younger, has come out of Hale End, which is one of the top academies. But it just seems, I don't know, for whatever reason, we just don't seem to get as much, I think, as we should for a lot of our players. But it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. If 40 million quid, if we could get 40 million quid for him, I don't think that's too bad. You see, he still has to go on and fulfill his potential, and there's no guarantee that he would do that. Wonder why it's gone so quiet with Partey. Maybe it will happen in the summer. I don't know. I think it might all end up just disappearing, to be honest. Is McAllister going to Arsenal or Man United? Who knows? Who knows? Both of them will be in for him, so it'll be interesting. I wanted to talk just briefly about how good Man City were last night. I know this is an Arsenal channel, and we don't really want to have to talk about how well Man City are playing, but last night they were good. Lewis, what shirt have I got on? Hereford FC from the side of country, the boys. Yeah, Man City were bloody good last night. I don't want to say I'm scared, but they have really done a very good job of fixing their defense in terms of earlier in the season, teams could get them on the transition. And to be fair, look, they haven't fully fixed it. Even in the game against Southampton at the weekend, there were still those sorts of opportunities. Sulemana, if he'd had anything other than a donkey touch, could have done something. But in general, their defense is a lot tighter now. And that is a problem. It is a problem. I do still think we can go there and get a draw. But them winning 3-0 last night is quite annoying because it sets them up to, the second game against Bayern is not anywhere near now as intense as it could have been. Just not beneficial for us. Obviously, we want them to be as trained as possible by the time we play against them. But fair play to them. And I thought Haaland as well. That assist he got for Bernardo Silva, everyone is expecting him to shoot there. And he plays an unbelievable ball to Bernardo Silva. And they could, yeah, exactly, Sean. They could have won 6 or 7-0. They could have won 6 or 7-0. Sommer was unbelievable. Made some huge saves. KDB's been teaching Haaland. Yeah, literally. If Nelson goes on a free, what winger would you like to get a replacement? It depends at what sort of level. But, I mean, Michael Olise, who we were talking about before that we've just been linked to, wouldn't be a bad option. I love Nonto at Leeds. If they go down, you could get him on a discount. Obviously, you've then got players like Moussa Diaby at a more expensive level from Bayer Leverkusen. So I think we need someone. Just don't know who that'll be. But again, obviously, we've got players like, Marquinhos is going to come back in the summer. And I don't really know. I think he started quite well in his loan at Norwich, but I don't really know how well he's done. Again, I expect he'll probably go out on another loan, but would you consider Rafinha again? No, I really don't like, typically speaking, I don't like it if we go for a player and they snub us. I don't like going back for them when it doesn't turn out well for them. It's the same reason I'm not interested in Vlahovic. The option was there for him. He snubbed us. He thought he was better off going to Juventus, and he was proven wrong. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, you get your chance. If you don't take it, we move on. And I don't think we should go back to them. So Rafinha's in the same boat as Vlahovic for me on that one. Only need a winger if Reece goes. Yeah, if we keep Reece, I don't think we need another winger. I think it's better to get Trossard as backup for Jesus and maybe Tavares backup for Martinelli. I don't think Tavares is good enough backup for Martinelli, unfortunately. Foden or Saka? Saka for me. Leao, well, Rafa Leao's, yeah, I'd love him, but Leao is unrealistic. Gunners agrees with me in the TikTok chat. Go on. We need a better right wing backup. So this is the thing, right? But this is where you begin to realize how difficult it is to compete with Man City, because to build a squad where your backups for players like Saka are good enough to push Saka to be at his best, and also if Saka gets injured, good enough to come in and be close to his level, you've got to be spending like 60, 70, 80 million quid on substitutes. And that's just very difficult to do. So it's why it's so difficult to compete with Man City at that level. But yeah, we've got to try our best to do it. Trossard can play off the right. Personally, I think it's probably the weak of the three front spots for Trossard. I think the right hand side is probably where he's at his weakest. I've preferred seeing him as a centre forward and as a left winger. Daniel says, "Hi Rory, any advice on getting into football TikTok content creation? Just throw yourself into it. Literally, I can't explain. My first TikTok, I just picked up my phone and made a TikTok, and it spiraled from there. And then since then, obviously I've been very fortunate with my TikTok channel that it's done well and people have enjoyed it. But then I've gone on and bought lighting and bought phone stands and bought things that in theory, make the content better. Some people might not agree, but the best way to start is literally just pick up a phone and start talking to it. Ruined it with going on AFTV. Look, I'll be honest. I did make when AFTV reached out to me and asked if I wanted to go on. I was caught in two minds, and I asked my friends and I asked quite a lot of people what the right decision was, because I know, I have had lots of comments in the past saying that people like my content because it's different to AFTV, and obviously AFTV's history maybe isn't as good. And it was a decision that I made. I had to sit there and make a decision. But for me, you can't. I think AFTV want to not change going forwards, but they are trying to kind of rebrand away from some of their old content that people still hold against them. And I feel like you can either say, no, I'm not going to go on it because of all of that, or you can say, like, yeah, I'll go on and maybe be part of that change, if that makes sense. So it was a decision I had to make, and I knew I'd get some backlash from it. And that's fair enough. And obviously, I'm not expecting that people are necessarily going to go and watch AFTV to watch me, but it's one of those where I felt in the end it was better to take the opportunity and see what the outcome was, rather than not take the opportunity. And look, the truth was, I really enjoyed it. The people there are really nice. I thought we had some really good conversations on the show. And it is what it is, Rory, what do you think of Balogun to Leipzig rumours? Hearing they want upwards of 40 mil. Yeah, so we just talked about that actually, Connor. But 40 mil is less, I think, than he's probably worth, especially when they're considering that they find Balogun a cheaper alternative to Jonathan David, which I'm not really sure why he should be cheaper. But also 40 million for a player that still has to fulfill that potential. You never know. You never know if they will go on and fill that potential. So I know you're an Arsenal fan, but what would be your opinions on Kolo Muani to Man United? I honestly, outside of the World Cup, I've just not seen much of Kolo Muani. I know you were linked to him previously. I mean, I'm sure it can't be a bad signing, right? There's a reason that he was being called up to the French national team for the World Cup. I know it was through a couple of injuries, but I can't imagine it would be a bad signing. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner. Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path without the Arsenal part of it, so you don't know whether they started at Arsenal, ended at Arsenal, if they're currently still at Arsenal, and you have to guess who the Arsenal player is. First to get it in the YouTube chat gets my congratulations for being intelligent. Jump in the TikTok chat as well. Yesterday's was easier than I intended it to be, but we'll see where we go with this one. So, This player started at the Stade Laval Academy. They then went to FC Lorient on loan, Freiburg on loan, Charlton Athletic on loan, Valencia, and then Villarreal. So Stade Laval, FC Lorient, Freiburg on loan, Freiburg on loan, Charlton on loan, Valencia, Villarreal. And Ross Lawman is the first person to get it in the YouTube chat. It is indeed Francis Coquelin. And now they're all getting it. But it was Ross Lawman who got it first. Well done. Well done. Took people on TikTok a little while to get that. Shouts of Koscielny. Yeah, obviously a lot of the French shouts were coming in because of that start at Stade Laval. But yeah, so Arsenal, where Arsenal fitted into that, by the way, was that he actually joined us at a really young age in the academy. We then sent him out on loan to the likes of Freiburg and Charlton. It is back-to-back wins for Ross Lawman. Do you think we'll get Roque since Barca can't afford him? Yeah, it was last week we did a video about Vitor Roque, who did want to go to Barcelona, but Barcelona can't necessarily afford him. So again, another option. Similar sort of build to Gabriel Jesus, and obviously we do have that Brazilian contingent that could sway him to us. Looking beautiful, like the pictures I sent of Jonathan Morley. Oh, that's you. Vitor Roque, what a football manager legend. Yeah, GG's to Ross. And now we've got the non-Arsenal career trajectory. So I'll give their full career path. Could be a player that's still playing, could be a player that's not playing. So this player, again, this is not an ex-Gooner or current Gooner. This is another player. Started their career at Tooting and Mitcham. They then joined Reading. They went to Cheltenham on loan, Southampton on loan, Colchester on loan, Sheffield Wednesday on loan. They then joined Sheffield Wednesday permanently. They then went to Nottingham Forest and then West Ham. And people have got it. People have got it. Who was the first one on YouTube? It was Ben Hilton. Ben Hilton was the first person to get Big Dick Mikel Antonio. Obviously, the end of that career does make it more obvious. Congratulations to those of you that got it in the TikTok chat as well. I think TikTok was a bit faster than YouTube that time. It is indeed Mikel Antonio. Have you gave the Wolves tickets on Ticket Exchange a go? No, I've not even tried to get a Wolves ticket off the exchange yet. That'd be brutal. If we sell Prime, can we get Mbappe? Possibly. It was not Lingard. It was not Lingard. It was Mikel Antonio. Tooting and Mitcham. What a place to start his career. Thoughts on Rice and Caicedo to Liverpool? Well, it's interesting. So, and this is where the midfielder market is just so interesting this summer because Liverpool have basically ruled themselves out of the race for Jude Bellingham because they can't afford. And this is what I was saying. And I said this before that Jude Bellingham was not going to go to Liverpool because if they've got 150 million to spend on one midfielder, they're far better getting three midfielders because their midfield needs serious work, and that is what they are seemingly doing now. Yes, Eno, Hereford United, we all love you. So you've got Ben remembered Antonio talking about Tooting and Mitcham. Yeah, that is true. That is true. So you've got Liverpool are arguably going to be after three midfielders this summer. Jude Bellingham apparently, and I don't know the source for this, so I don't know if it's 100% accurate. Apparently, he's ruled out going to the likes of Man City and PSG because they don't have the heritage of where he wants to go. He wants to go to a more traditional club. Now, what that means, I don't know. I don't know if that means because Real Madrid wasn't included in that list. He's not going to go to Man City or PSG. Real Madrid are really the only other team that can afford him. But maybe it opens up the door for Arsenal. We are a traditional historical success. But no, I just don't think we could afford it. That was Chris Wheatley. That's where I got that from. I do follow him. Which backup would you buy for Partey? I think Caicedo is the natural one. We're coming. Be scared of City. Well, look, City are hitting a good run of form. Let's be fair. City are hitting a good run of form, but we can get a draw. We can get a draw at the Etihad. I believe it. Do you think Maitland-Niles has a chance in the Arsenal team next season? No, I don't think he does. Maitland-Niles, I reckon we'll sell Maitland-Niles for about, I don't even know how much. Thoughts on Xhaka getting a possible contract extension? Yeah, I think Xhaka will get a contract extension, and he deserves it as well. He deserves it. I just think what will happen is that he'll be gradually phased out in place of Rice or McCann, whoever it is that comes in that position. I think at the start of next season, you'll see Xhaka hold his position for a little bit, and then gradually the other person will, because the other whoever gets bought in has to be an upgrade on Xhaka, otherwise there's a point. So Ben, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Appreciate anyone that's followed on TikTok. City barely beat yous in the FA Cup when they had their A team and you guys had your B team. Exactly. Although City at that point weren't quite playing as well. But yeah, we've not played against Man City with our strongest team yet. That does have to be we do have to bear that in mind. We've not played with Partey and Jesus against them. Tom, thank you for the follow on TikTok as well. Leipzig want Balogun. Arsenal asking for 40 million. Yeah, that did come from Sky Sports Germany. Again, we talked about that earlier in the stream. What do you think of Dele Alli's demise? Look, if he wasn't an ex-Spurs player, I'd say it's quite sad. It is quite sad. You don't want to see a player's career go like that, really. But also, some element of blame, of course, has to go on Dele Alli. Who's he got around him? You've got to have the right people around you, and Dele Alli clearly doesn't have the right people around him, whether it's his friends, whether it's his family, his age, whoever it is. Clearly people aren't looking out for him and his career, and it's a shame. It's a shame, but ultimately it lands on him. You know, it's still his decisions to behave the way he does at the end of the day. So do you think Jorginho will still be here next season? Well, it's interesting because we signed Jorginho on an 18-month contract. So obviously, in the summer, he'll have a year left on that contract. It wouldn't wildly surprise me if we sold him for pretty much what we bought him for. It wouldn't surprise me, but you never know. Because otherwise, we keep him for another year. He'll be a bit part player and go on a free if we're bringing in two or three signings. So as long as we're sharp v City at the Etihad, we'll outperform them. I don't disagree. What do you think of Newcastle joining the race for Rice? I don't know about Newcastle because they are still fairly limited by FFP. That would be a big signing for them to make. And I'm not sure it's necessarily the position. I mean, they do need midfielders. I don't think Sean Longstaff's Champions League quality, but yeah, I don't know. Rice might be a bit of a stretch for them. Lewis wants to buy Alexis Sanchez. I do not want to buy him. Anyway, YouTube, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to end the stream there. We will be back again tomorrow. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. Please smash the like button. Massively appreciate all of the support. I hope you all have a great evening, and I will catch you again tomorrow. Goodbye.